Despite his absence and legal troubles, he remains the top choice for Republican voters. Of course, we're talking about the former president here.
Yes, Republican political expert Brian Robinson joins us now at the desk. I got to begin by asking you about Governor Kemp's appearance in Wisconsin. He called the Trump campaign the big loser for not having shown up, compared them to the Falcons losing the Super Bowl 28-3 with a prevent defense.
That was a particularly painful reference that the governor gave for Georgians. I think this is Governor Kemp's Freudian slip. Governor Kemp stepping out and really expanding his national profile. That Ruthless podcast has a massive audience amongst Republicans across the country. It's a real go-to. Anybody wants to be on it. And those guys have Brian on all the time. He's been on numerous, like 3 times in the last couple of months. I encourage people to check it out. It's a different Brian Kemp than what you see on the news. He is laid back, he's funny, he's cutting up with them, and calling President Trump a loser, this is a Brian Kemp we haven't heard before.
Yeah, and that's some pretty bold statement there, because we've seen polls show that even after criminal indictments, even after not showing up at certain debates, he's still the front runner.
And you could see that in the debate audience last night. You could tell that a lot of those folks in that audience are President Trump people. Any attacks on Trump, and there were a multitude of attacks, were met with boos by that audience. And that tells you what a perilous path this is for the other candidates to traverse. They have got to draw a contrast with Trump, be seen as a better choice, but at the same time, not lose the support of his most loyal supporters, who are, as we've seen, very loyal. These indictments have made no difference in their support.
It's a huge chunk of people to try to keep on your side.
Probably close to a majority of the party, therefore a majority of the primary electorate.
Well, of course, the former president appeared on the site formerly known as Twitter 5 minutes before the debate began last night. He made the point that he's 40, 50 points ahead in some of these polls. Why should he show up and let them nip at his heels? Does he have a point?
He has a great point. If I was on his team, I would say the exact same thing. There's nothing in it for you. It's great that 24 million Americans tuned in. I have a hard time believing they'll be able to maintain that kind of viewership moving forward. And he shows he can counter-program. And you know what's going to be another great counter-programming event for him? Atlanta, today. One of the biggest swing states that there is. So he's once again going to command the national platform in a way that no other candidate can come close to.
Yeah, it really just depends on your stance here. Some people, as we mentioned, consider this a loss, but there are plenty of people who consider his absence to be genius marketing.
Absolutely. And as far as him being up by 50 points, here's what really matters. And those are some national polls. But if you look at the early states, and that's what anybody who works in politics is going to look at, not a national poll. His lead in Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina isn't as big as it is nationally, because these other candidates have been in the faces of those voters during this campaign in a way they haven't in the non-early voting states. So let's look a little closer at what's happening in those, because look, if these begin to tighten, if you begin to see Vivek begin to grow, if you begin to see Ron DeSantis begin to grow, or Nikki Haley, who had a great performance last night, then you're going to see Donald Trump have a different strategy, and you better believe he's going to be on that debate stage.
All right, very interesting. Brian Robinson, you know the Republican strategy, and we appreciate you being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you.
Let's get